Hello Internet, I'm here today to talk to you a bit about how to respond to an acting question. So the third question in the exam paper is going to be a more in-depth acting response, and it's going to be asking you to discuss character interaction, the way the character is going to move physically, the way the character is going to speak vocally, also ideas for movement and gesture all coming in to this specific question. The example I'm going to use is from Narrative Martin, and this is a resource that I've shared with my group. So Narrative Martin in Act 1 Scene 1. In Act 1 Scene 1, an actor playing Narrative Martin should be played as a wise character that is confident to tell the audience lots of information and move from scenes in the past, i.e. the school scene, to scenes in the present, i.e. the hospital scene. It's worth mentioning at this point that those early scenes within the play are split staged, so we will have scenes in the hospital bed. The hospital will be there all the way through that Act 1 because it goes from scene to scene, it kind of flicks back and forth, and then there will be other areas of the stage where you're going to set them up for things like the classroom scene, the fair scene, and also the car crash and the club scene before that. So in this opening scene we do have the hospital bed that's set up on one side and then also the classroom scene on the other side. So Narrative Martin flicks between these 2 points of action, and one of the points they make later on in this essay is how they actually do that and how they actually move. But when the actor says the line, "I still remember what you said that day of all days," I would direct the speech to the form tutor, as this is who he is referring to. His eye focus should be on the form tutor, and he should also gesture with his hand and move towards the teacher on the word you. So what they've done there is they've quoted, and then they've gone very specifically into what they would do in that quote. It's always worth giving a closer quote and really breaking down the quote into different areas and giving me as many examples of how you're going to play that line as you possibly can. On the next part of the speech, the actor playing Narrative Martin should break the fourth wall, turn to the audience and say the line, "I hate it when teachers are right." Vocally, I would emphasise the word hate by saying it a little louder and gesturing with both hands on the word hate. This could be funny for an audience, as the character of Narrative Martin is admitting that the teacher is in fact right. There are two different times within this scene, and Narrative Martin must walk from the classroom scene in the past over to the other side of the stage where the hospital bed is, and that is in the present day. When he is in the hospital scene, his tone should get softer and sadder, as this is a scene with Martin's parents being very worried. So when he says the line, quote, "I don't know any of this was happening," I would say it in a quieter tone, standing close to his mum and dad. What that shows is the candidate, that the student has got a real good grasp of the fact that there are two different tones and two different kind of atmospheres being created in this opening scene. The form scene between the form tutor should be upbeat and kind of quite funny and cheeky, whereas the hospital scene is going to be sadder in its general atmosphere. You've got Martin, who's all broken up on the bed. You've got his mum and dad, who are there, obviously very worried. The atmosphere between the two scenes should definitely be different, and that's what this character, this candidate rather, is saying about this character. Final paragraph. His motivation in this scene is to appear wise and mature, as the character has already been through all of this and has learnt the lessons from the accident. So I would have him move with an upright posture, and his head would be held high. As he speaks to the audience, breaking the fourth wall on the line, "Look at me now," I would use a big hand gesture towards the bed. This should show the audience that his motivation is to tell the story and also point things out to the audience, as he is a mature and wise narrative character. Now, I think that would get a lot of marks. That would get a lot of high marks, because what it's essentially doing is it's quoted 3 times, 3 different moments within that scene where Narrative Martin is speaking, and for each of those quotes they've given me clear examples on how they would sort of play those parts. If you're trying to remember a kind of formula for answering this, I would say the formula is quote 3 times, and then for each of those quotes you need to make sure you're covering the ideas around character interaction, around movement. You need to include a gesture, an idea for a gesture in there. You should also mention the way the character is standing in terms of their posture, and you should also always mention the vocal qualities of the character. It always helps to kind of close your eyes and just kind of really use your imagination and visualize what's going on in the scene, and that I think is the key to answering a really, really good kind of acting question on a specific character. I'm going to try and put up as many videos as I can this week, because I've been sharing all these resources with my students. They seem to really, really like them. So if you do like it, or if there's an area that you want me to cover, if there's a specific question you've got about the play, then please just put it in the comments and I will do my best to try and respond to any of the questions that you have. I hope you're having fun revising. Yay! And I will see you again soon. Thanks very much.